All right, there's a slight difference between your options with regards to footwork on the forehand side versus the backhand side, okay? And that is simply because if I'm a right-handed player, I have to go all the way across my body and actually turn my shoulders a little bit more to get the same amount of turn to generate a decent shot, okay? So the footwork options that you have on the left are very different than the right side, okay? For your forehand and your backhand side. On the backhand side, because it's very easy to open up your hips because that racket is going across back to my forehand side where I have more reach, okay? I need to make sure that I too learn to frame my shot on the backhand side. And it's very different than for the forehand side, okay? On the backhand side, we mostly use inside steps, okay? What is an inside step? Instead of doing walking step this way and then that way, which is possible on the backhand side, but very, very difficult for most players because they're not as flexible, okay, as professional players. What you can do instead to frame your shot is do an inside step, okay, to be able to frame your shot. Because you notice, if I stand too far back and I do this, all right, this camera is actually going to give you the angle, I'm tilting. And tilting in tennis is a really, really bad thing, all right? So I need to make sure that I find a way that makes me perfectly aligned with my shot here, okay? And the only step that gives me that is the inside step, okay? So I would go one inside, one setup, one strike, okay? Let's do that again, okay? One inside step, one setup step, one contact, okay? The same applies for the two-handed backhand. You would go 1, 2, and 3, okay? Do not confuse the inside step, okay, with the karaoke step. One is an adjustment step. The other one is a dynamic step that takes you inside to go to the net, okay? The karaoke step looks somewhat similar, but the position is very different. And I'm going to put some balls to show you the difference between the two. The inside step frames your shot for a regular neutral stance, okay? So it goes 1, and then you notice that I'm neutral. My foot did not go further than this, okay? So let's do neutral again. Inside step for a neutral and a strike, okay? The karaoke step looks somewhat similar, but it's quite different in nature because it actually gets you inside. You will see that my position will be much more forward in reference to the cone than for the inside step. The inside step keeps me aligned with the cone, okay? The karaoke step, I'm actually taking my inside step at the same time as I hit the ball, and it takes me way beyond the cone, okay? So one stops me here, okay, with the inside step that I hit the ball after I take my inside step. That would be the inside step adjustment step, okay, here, all right? And the other one is the karaoke step, which is an inside step that you take at the same time as you hit the ball. So your foot would be here, already in a neutral position, but you would make it dynamic by going in at the same time. And what you notice is my new position would be much more forward, okay? The karaoke step is the go-to shot for all the people who chip and charge. All of them that have an intention to slice and come in use the karaoke step a lot. So make sure you don't confuse the two, but make sure that you certainly own the two.